Hey everyone. I just realized that I didn't connect to Wi-Fi on my phone. So I'm actually hoping that that I have good enough service that this video doesn't do weird things. But I realized that it's Saturday night. It's close to 8 p.m. here on the West Coast, so some of my East Coasters might be in bed already, and I also know that on Saturday nights people like to do fun things. I personally have to work in the morning. Hey, Katie. But I had something on my heart, and I've been kind of mulling it over all day long. Hey, Kim. And so I thought, whatever. It's Saturday night. A lot of people are probably out doing fun things or spending time with their family. People may or may not jump on here. Hey, Emily. But it's okay. I'm not so much concerned about how many live viewers I get, as I am just about the turmoil that I've been feeling from within. And, as I've been sort of sorting through that stuff, that baggage, that emotional turmoil, I feel like today I came across some realizations, some aha moments, if you will. Thank you. Oh my God, Target. If you could feel this, I wish you could reach through the camera and feel this right now. I didn't give a shit what it said or what it looked like. As soon as I felt it, I bought it. But I just figured that, I want to, my goal is always to help others. It's who I am. It's how I was born. It's the person that I am deep within myself. Ever since I was a baby, I've spent so much energy trying to help others and make them feel good. Lots of times to my own detriment. I grew up with my family, and I'm just kind of talking randomly as I'm waiting for some people to jump on. But hey, Linda. Hey, Joseph. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Stephanie. Wow, so Saturday night, you guys are homebodies like me. So thanks for hopping on. And again, I was just kind of shooting the shit a little bit while I was waiting to see if anybody was going to hop on. Just basically, I've been going through some shit lately. And it's nothing crazy big, dramatic. It's just stuff that's been causing me personal inner emotional turmoil. And I've been really struggling to sort through it. And it's gotten me all out of sorts. And so I just thought, I feel like what I'm going through, hey, Andrea, and what I'm sort of learning as I try to struggle through it might help other people, because none of us are immune to struggle, right? And I did take some notes because I tend to ramble, and I really want to respect your time on a Saturday night. Even if you're sitting at home like me, it might be your family time. And I personally have some work to do for my challengers and my coaches before I go to bed, and I have to be up super early, like 5 in the morning. So I would like to respect all of our time, and I will just get to it. So, hey, Jennifer. So if you guys have questions or anything, just feel free to comment them below as I go through this real quickly. But I will, just so you're aware, I won't go through the comments till the end because I get way distracted. And I'm already a super tangential person. Hey, Stacy. So what's been going on with me, right? Like, if you've been following me for any period of time, you probably are used to me being very present, sharing my life on a daily basis. You're probably used to seeing workout videos from me and pictures of what I'm eating and meal prep and inspirational stuff and talking about my challengers and my business and what's going on, nursing, all of it. And you may then, therefore, have noticed that I've been a little bit absent lately. And that's kind of my nature. Like, by nature, what's comfortable to me is when I'm struggling, I retreat. And maybe you can relate with that. But I tend to get quiet. I get very inward. I'm somebody that, on a 24/7 basis, my mind is spinning. So when I've got, things going on, let me turn off my sound. When I've got things going on that are causing me inner turmoil and conflict, I tend to just shut down in terms of a social aspect, and my nature is not to talk about it, and that's a personal struggle that I've already had to overcome, for example, in my relationships, being able to talk to people when I'm struggling, but definitely when it comes to the other things in my life, like sharing on social media or you may have noticed, obviously, like I said, not getting my workout in. I just stopped sharing. Hey, Elizabeth. So that's what happened. Like, I started going through a bit of a struggle at the beginning of our move, which was about a month ago now. As you may have deduced from my post, hey Holland, we went through this sort of whirlwind where we made a decision to move from where we were living in Redding back down to our hometown in Bakersfield. And it happened very fast, and I was leaving jobs and saying goodbye to friends and trying to pack up a house for a 450 mile move that involves packing up U-Hauls and getting rid of things. We sold a bunch of furniture, all the cleaning that comes along with moving. You guys are all adults. I'm sure you've moved before. The gardening work that has to go into making sure the yard is in peak condition so that we can get our deposit back. And then there was the whirlwind of, we even slept in our garage for a night amongst all of this. And then there's this, what took us 8 hours to drive home with a U-Haul towing my car and Logan's truck behind. And then we get to Bakersfield and we have to unload all of our stuff into a storage. Maybe you've also seen that we are temporarily living with my in-laws, or my soon-to-be in-laws. Hi, Mommy. And so, hey, Elena. So, there has been a lot of uprooting going on in my life, and with that, a lot of uncertainty, and I've lost a lot of my routine. However chaotic my routine was before, my routine is something that definitely keeps me grounded, and I have just felt stressed over it all for now going on over a month probably since the packing and moving madness sort of began. And I think it's all catching up to me. Hey, Connie. It's all catching up to me a little, I feel like, because the last week or two maybe, I've started to feel kind of down. I've started to struggle with anxiety a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot. And my normal coping mechanisms, hey, Antonio, are not sufficing. And so today I found myself driving to San Francisco for I commute to San Francisco for work no matter where I'm living. So right now that's a 4.5 hour drive from Bakersfield. And I just was like lost in my head. And I've been telling my close friends, my success partner, Jackie, my fiance, Logan, I've been telling them, I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling anxious. I don't know where to go next. I lost my routine. I don't have my own. Logan and I don't have a space right now to call our own because we're living with our in-laws temporarily while we look for the right place for us in Bakersfield. And that means, I've always been independent. I've lived on my own for a long time. So moving back into a shared space is hard in and of itself. I'm a major extroverted introvert, I should say. And on top of that, I haven't figured out yet where I'm going to work out because obviously sharing a space with others, we live in a house that's like 100 years old. So it's loud as shit. I cannot get up in the early morning or even in the middle of the day necessarily and do my workout in my bedroom. So I've been trying to find garage space that's not really there. I could work out outdoors, but like I told you, I'm living with my in-laws. It's just kind of like I don't know where I'm going to do the things that are my routine, the things that keep me sane and give me some sense of normalcy. We're sharing a kitchen with people who, we're vegetarian. I don't expect anybody that I live with to practice vegetarianism. That was a personal choice of ours. I'm kind of a flexitarian, but nonetheless, sharing pantry space, sharing fridge space, sharing a kitchen. We're not necessarily Logan and my routine that we do like every night when I'm off work. We have a routine, and every morning when we get up, we have a routine, and we don't have that routine anymore. It's gone, poof, right? So my life has been uprooted and there's been a lot of change, and I'm not somebody who classically handles change very well. I'm learning and growing just like everybody else. And so that's why I've disappeared, because that is my nature. It is to turn inward and to hole up. And I'm like that silent sufferer type who feels like I have to struggle alone. And I just thought about it today when I was driving up here to San Francisco, and I thought, God, like that's the person that I've been working to overcome over the past 4 years. And here I go. My life gets uprooted and things get stressful, and I start to feel that anxiety, and I start to feel uncertain and lose my focus, and I just go right back to my old habits, right? And so, I have to first and foremost give myself a little bit of grace. And this is something that we talk about in my challenge groups all the time. It's something that I hammer home with my challengers. And in fact, all the points that I'm going to go through are ones that I give advice to others on every single day. But as I'm sure you guys can relate, it's a lot easier sometimes to give advice than to follow your own. We are our own worst enemies sometimes. And that is where I found myself today. No workouts for, it's probably been almost a month since I've done a workout. Yeah, that's been hard. I actually, if you saw my post, if you didn't see my post from the other morning, go back and look at it. It's just a few posts back, but it's about how I am not somebody who loves physical exercise. I actually loathe it and I hate it, but since I've been doing 30 minutes of exercise at home a day for the past 4 years, I've come to a place where I crave it because it is something that helps me deal emotionally and physically with life. So I've just decided today when I was driving up here, I do not like the way that I'm feeling. I hate feeling anxious. Nobody likes it. I hate feeling lost. I hate feeling like I've put a complete stop, a halt, put the brakes on all of the momentum of the good things in my life. It feels bad. And so I just literally for 4.5, 5 hours on the drive up here did nothing but listen to personal development. And sometimes I forget what a powerful tool that has become in my life to feel like I'm struggling with something, and instead of feeling like I've got to sort of mull through it and just tough through it and muscle through it like I used to think, I have this tool of putting good, positive, constructive things into my brain that will help me naturally not only cope with, but also move through that kind of struggle. And that's where my first point comes in. Number one, personal development helps me get out of my own head. What's the angry face for? Who posted that? Personal development helps me get out of my own head, and it helps me sort of just figure out what the next single action step is going to be. And that's powerful. It's so much more powerful than I sometimes remember, that I give credit to sometimes, because we have to break the thought process, right? If we are going through something that is causing us turmoil and strife and anxiety and causing us to feel lost, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm feeling depressed, but I mean, I'm feeling reminiscent of times that I have been depressed because somewhere, sometimes we have to just feel the feels. I've always said that. Sometimes the only way to get on the other side of something is to go through it. And feeling all the feels is okay for a while. But at what point do we say, enough? I cannot allow myself to feel this way every single day for an extended period of time. I can feel this way and feel all the feels and acknowledge my feelings temporarily, but I've got to intercept it at some point and get back to action. Getting out of these things doesn't happen passively. It's not something that you can just kind of mope around for a month or 2 months or 3 months or a year or 2 years or 3 years and then someday magically the fog lifts. It's an active process. So we have to figure out how to get to the next action. So for me, especially today, that was turning on some personal development. I listened to a couple of trainings from work, one that happened to speak to my heart intensely, and then a podcast, and I'm on my phone right now, so I can't tell you what the podcast is, but something that was recommended to me. It's something about a life coach lessons or something like that. And it was very, very amazing. And it helped me break my cycle of woe is me and what's going on and how am I going to get out of it and I hate feeling this way and all that down sad stuff. It helped me process some of those feelings, and it helped me come up with my next action. I don't have to come up with some big vision board and take this big massive step. I just need to know what the next baby step's going to be. And personal development helps me intercept the spinning thoughts that are getting me nowhere and helps me choose that next baby step. I can't tackle the whole thing today. I can't come out of the entire fog today. I can't gain all my momentum back in my life in one day, but I can take one step, and taking one small step forward is far better than just continuing to spin and staying in the exact same place. If you're not moving forward, in a lot of ways you're moving backward. There is no, coasting. Okay. Hey, Kelsey. So my first action step that I committed to today was the next thing that I can do is get back to my self-care. So this is number 2. Number 1, personal development to intercept these spinning thoughts and decide on the next baby step of action. Number 2, that action for me is going to be self-care, because there is one thing over the last 4 years that has changed my life more than anything else on the planet, and that has been self-care, in mind, in body, in spirit. Personal development is obviously the mind piece of that, and working on my mindset, working on strengthening my mindset, and then beyond that, physically, my exercise. I have gotten off my routine. I mean, I can't beat myself up about that. Again, I have to give myself grace, the same kind of grace I would give somebody else who was struggling and who fell backwards a little bit. I have to give myself grace and accept that I took a 1-month break from my workouts because of a lot of different reasons. It doesn't even matter why, because that is the past, which we cannot control the past. We can't change the past. So it doesn't matter what happened. I know that in some way it was sort of a part of the process, because again, I have to figure out where I'm going to work out, when I'm going to work out in this new weird situation where I don't have my own space, a home to call my own right now, where I'm living in other people's space. So my first step of action is going to be starting my Insanity Max 30 program all over again. Excuse me. I've been off of it for long enough where there is no starting where I left off. I have to start over. I have to commit to a fresh start. So starting on Monday morning, before I get up, before I go to work, yes, that's going to mean like a 4:30 a.m. wake up call, tough shit. I've been tired before. I can deal with being tired. What I can't deal with is continuing to feel this way. And I know that my workout gives me energy. It makes me feel more positive. It helps me feel inspired as I get to inspire others through sharing my workout journey. It helps me deal with stress and anxiety. Probably part of the reason I'm feeling so anxious is because I have no release, right? So I need to get moving. I need to fight some shit out. I need to sweat some shit out. I can't tell you how many times I've cried during a tough workout. And that is a physical and emotional release. And there's a reason that it happens. There's a reason that we have emotional release when we are pushing ourselves physically, right? They're tied. Our minds are not separate from our bodies. They are intertwined in the most intricate of ways. And that is something that I've learned that I have to remind myself of. I have to get my workout in. And this is the next piece, is that in thinking about restarting my workout program over the past couple of weeks, I've thought, oh, but I can't do this. And how am I going to follow my PCS nutrition plan, my portion control system? How am I going to make sure that I'm nailing all my nutrients? How am I going to make sure that I never miss a workout? Like, I was going this all or nothing route in my brain. And what I came to realize today is that it doesn't fucking have to be perfect. I just have to do it. I just have to start and do my best and forget everything else. Tony Horton says, do your best, forget the rest. And honestly, like, why do I have this need to feel like if I'm going to do it, I have to do every little piece perfectly? It does not have to be perfect. I just have to do something. I just have to find some sense of direction and control in my life. And this is another point. There are a lot of things in my life that I can't control right now. But I should never let that take away from the things that I can control. So while I might not be able to control my nutrition plan down to the very last macro or micronutrient, like I was when I had my own house and my own kitchen and my own fridge full of groceries, I can still make the best choices with what I have. And it doesn't have to look perfect. But again, remember, if I'm not moving forward, I'm moving backward. And I will not move backwards. So I have committed to starting my Insanity Max 30 program on Monday. Kathy, oh, that's amazing. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm here for you. You can message me. We can be accountability partners. I'm totally down for that. So I just have to remember that when there's a lot in my life that feels like it's completely out of control, I have to take control of what I can. And this is a lesson that I learned, mind you, hi Anna, when I was on a year of disability with spinal injuries. And there was so much out of my control. I mean, to go from life of a trauma nurse 6 days in a row, twice a month, that was my work schedule, traveling all over the world, doing workouts 6 days a week. I mean, I was on it. And then to go from that and in a matter of overnight not being able to walk, and then being off work for a year and feeling like I lost my identity. I mean, it was out of control. There was so much that was out of my control, and I slipped back into terrible habits that made me feel more like shit. And I, at some point, had to snap myself out of it. It took like 6 months that time, but I had to take control of what I could. At that time, it was my nutrition because I couldn't walk, therefore I couldn't work out, right? And I couldn't work out for a year, so I had to take control of something. At that point, I took control of my nutrition. It's kind of funny because this time things have flipped a little, and it went from now I can't really control, I can control a lot about my nutrition, and I promise to share more of that, how I'm doing that with you guys moving forward. But we'll just say right now, I can't control my nutrition as much as I would like to, but I might not be able to control like the fact that I'm struggling to find a space to work out in, but what I can control is that baby step. I can take control and say, Monday, I'm working out. Non-negotiable. It's on my calendar. My alarm's already set. I'm not giving myself any other options. I have control of that one thing. And if that's the only thing in my life that I have control over right now, it's control. And my notes from earlier today, and let me tell you that it helps. Never discount those little tiny straws that you can grasp at when you're feeling like your life is completely out of control. Never discount the little things, because those little things add up over time. And someday you look back and go, how in the hell did I get through that, right? I don't know, but I came out the other side. And that was much like what my disability journey was. So, I will be starting my journey again on Monday, and I promise to share more of my struggles instead of retreating like I'm used to doing, because my next point being that when we're struggling, sometimes it helps to stop focusing on ourselves, because again, that's the mind spinning. It doesn't get you anywhere. Sometimes what I've learned is that if I can take the focus off of myself and place it on how I can serve and help others, it helps me not feel so anxious, not feel so out of control, right? That's another thing I can control. I can help others. So instead of retreating like I have been doing, which makes me feel more like shit because I'm feeling stagnant, I'm moving backwards, not forwards. Instead, if I say, hey, I'm struggling, but I'm going to share with you how I'm getting through it, the baby steps. If I can help somebody else get through their own struggle by sharing my struggles, that takes the focus off me and puts it out into the world. What can I do? How can I serve? How can I help while I'm going through this? How can I use my story and my struggle to help and serve others, right? Giving to other people helps us feel better about our lives. So it becomes reciprocal. So in an attempt to get out of my own head and in an attempt to take the focus off me and put it onto others, I start to feel good. I start to get endorphins and happy feelings that make me feel more positive and strong and capable by helping other people through their struggles, right? So that is my other point. I should have maybe counted these, like numbered them. I don't know. One thing that I haven't touched on yet. So we've talked about personal development to intercept the mind spinning, the negative thoughts, the, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? My life's out of control, right? In recap, we've talked about personal development, snapping ourselves out of it and putting good things into our brain that help us find constructive baby action steps that we can take instead of just sitting here mulling over all the shit that we're stressed out about. Listen to some personal development. I can make recommendations for you if you're new to personal development, because I was a personal development non-believer for a lot of years. And now that is my very first, if I don't know what the hell to do and where I'm going and I'm starting to spin, I listen to some personal development that helps break that thought process and helps me decide on the next step of action, right? The next thing, which is the step of action, is to share my struggles with other people and to get back to my self-care routine, right? That's number 2, self-care. When we're struggling, we have to find a way to take care of ourselves in mind, in body, in spirit. In mind, we can do personal development. In spirit, we can give to others. In body, we can take care of ourselves by, like what I'm doing, not feeling like I need to be perfect at a program, avoiding that whole paralysis that comes along with feeling like we can't do something perfectly, and instead just giving ourselves grace and accepting that we're going to do it imperfectly, but it's better than doing nothing. And again, that will give me more positive, happy endorphins, which will help me get through the struggle and the stress and the anxiety, right? The next step after that is taking control of what you can. And you see how these are all intertwined, you guys, right? So the next thing is taking control of what you can. Whatever it is, grab control of the things that you can control. For me right now, it's going to be sharing my journey with others. It's going to be recommitting to my program, even if it's imperfect. And then the last thing that I mentioned was focusing on others instead of on myself and my own struggles. So for me, personally in my life, that means sharing my journey and sharing my struggles with you guys, because if it helps you, it serves a purpose in my life, and helping others brings me joy and peace. So by helping other people, by sharing my struggles instead of retreating, I can bring more of those happy, feel-good endorphins back into my life inadvertently by giving to others and serving others through my struggle, right? So the very last thing, which kind of course, intertwines with all the rest of it, is that I had to remind myself something that I tell my challengers every single week. I have to become solution-oriented in times of struggle instead of problem-oriented. So instead of thinking about why I'm struggling to get my workouts in, why I'm struggling to follow my nutrition plan perfectly. I've never been perfect at a nutrition plan. If you followed me at any point in time, you know that. So what the hell was I thinking that I could only do it if it was perfect? That's not me. I know that's not me. You guys probably know that's not me. What the hell was I thinking, right? So if I can become solution-oriented and focus on solutions instead of problems, again, I'm going to wake up in a few months and be like, wow, I powered the hell out of that struggle. I powered through it, right? So again, I'll come back to that thing that I said earlier, that I'm a firm believer that to come out on the other side of struggle, we can't go around it. We have to go through it. Through it. I know that's not what you want to hear. I wish that I had a better answer, because wouldn't it be nice to take the shortcut around? We have to go through it, but that's what develops us as a person. It's what helps us connect to others. It's what helps us learn lessons that strengthen us in body and mind and spirit, right? Everything inside of you is just like the muscles on the outside of you. The more you flex them, the stronger they get, right? So I won't retreat anymore. And I wanted to let you guys know what was going on in my life and share with you sort of the aha moments I came to when I was listening to my personal development today on the drive down up from Bakersfield to San Francisco. That 4.5 hours of personal development didn't solve my problems, but it brought about every single thought that I just shared with you in this video. That's why I made personal development my number one step that I not only took, but also that I shared with you. So I hope this helps you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment them below, as some people maybe are watching this video after the fact. And now you know what's been going on and why I disappeared. I guess I'll close with this. All the things that are stressing me out right now, all the lack of control that I'm feeling, remind me what I'm fighting for, right? Like all my goals are tied to creating freedom in my life. Freedom from time constraints, freedom from somebody else being my boss and dictating my life and dictating my paycheck, therefore freedom from financial stress, right? It's not about being rich in money because, I want to have flashy things. It's about being rich in freedom and knowing that if something comes up, like a sudden impromptu move across the state of California, that I'm not going to be limited by my finances, right? That's what financial freedom is to me. It means freedom in everything else, right? So this struggle and these aha moments that I've had today have helped me remember what I'm fighting for, and that is freedom. The freedom to never have to leave home, which I just left earlier today, to have to say goodbye to my dogs and my fiance, who are my world, to chase a paycheck, right? Like, this is what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for a life of freedom that doesn't come without stress. That's not like an option. That's not a thing in life. But I'm fighting so that these things that are dragging me down right now I don't have to do them. Like that when hard times come in life, at the very least, I have the time and financial freedom to navigate them my way so that I'm in control. Okay, so I hope this helped you guys. And if you have any of your own tips, please, I am an open book. Please share your tips below if you have come across something that has really helped you in your time of struggle and stress and anxiety. If you have tools that you can share with me, if you have personal development that you love, maybe a book or a podcast or a YouTube channel or something that you use to help pull you out of darkness, please share it below. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here so I can get work done for my coaches and my challengers who have been missing me as I've sort of navigated through this last month or so. Have a fantastic Saturday night, and I'll see you guys soon.